It's not subtle, it's not classy, but you have to admit, Neveldine and Taylor understood the attention economy long before Hollywood ever did. This is basically if the Running Man had a seizure and woke up inside of a G4 TV commercial set to dubstep. It's not sci-fi, it's media nihilism. But what's one of your favorite Gerard Butler movies? It's day 70 of 365. Today's movie, Gamer. The boys are back. Neveldine and Taylor are back on the daily Stub reviews with their follow-up to Crank 2, Gamer. This one stars Gerard Butler and the Butcher Bay Killer himself, Michael C. Hall. This was a movie that I thought was so good at the time. I went to see it twice in theaters. I have 2 different ticket stubs for this one in the lineup, and they had different dates on them, so I don't remember seeing it twice. I guess I did, though. Let's call this one Logan's Run.exe. You get it because of Logan Lerman. I think this movie is crazy. It's wild. It's honestly absolutely bonkers insane. It was basically crafted with me in mind at the time, too. I was 18 or 19, video game addicted. This movie, much like the last one that we talked about, shows off how much video games are important to Neveldine and Taylor. Crank 2 was their reference to it. This is their magnum opus to video game movies. And this one has more to say than a Crank movie, too. They touch on the military-industrial complex and its involvement with video games. Think in our real world when we use Xbox controllers to control drones that kill real people. These two things are linked together. Video games aren't their own separate hub, but are in fact layered into our politics, into our social lives, and into every aspect of our society now. If Crank was the greyhound of chaos, then this movie is the dogs playing poker painting as a background on one of the computers at Anonymous. There's more artistic merit to this one, even though it's kind of disgusting and hasn't aged super well either. You can even see influences from Richard Kelly's Southland Tales, one of my favorite movies, in the way that they display this world through a bubblegum UI. So everything's eye-catching. Everything's trying to grab your attention and move your ADHD around the screen at all times. But these guys aren't the political satirists that Kelly is, so they're doing straight action, and that's where this movie really pops off. Their shootouts and gunfights are off the chain. For someone that grew up on Counter-Strike and Call of Duty, this movie spoke directly to me. Some of the YouTube-esque shots that they're pulling off in this before YouTube's totally taken off as a thing just kind of amazed me. There are entire subgenres of YouTube video that are trying to do what these guys committed to film back in 2009. Like I said, not all of this has aged well. It's kind of like learning poly-sci through a Call of Duty lobby. Yeah, you learn something, but your soul rotted a little bit for watching it too. I don't know if I can recommend this movie. I think honestly some of the director's kinks are on display in this movie. Some of it is so psychosexual that I have to imagine maybe they were not only digging into their id and their ego, but their super ego as well. Obviously, something attracted me to this that I saw it twice as a teen, so let's run through my 3 favorite things about Gamer. The first thing I love about this movie is I forgot how insanely quotable it is. Now, there are some quotes that you would not catch me dead repeating. There are a lot of slurs used in this movie that we've moved away from as a society, but even those lines still read funny in the way that they're trying to be eye-catching. I'm not saying that I like them, but it plays better here than in other movies that we've talked about so far. The quotes that I do love are things like, pistachio butter? They make that? Yeah, and it's really good. Those little moments that they include in their movies are always so fucking hilarious to me. The video game aspect is obvious here, but now we can see some of the classic action movie, the Arnold Schwarzenegger-ness kind of playing out here. Again, I mentioned Running Man at the top of this because that is very, very similar to what's happening here. They're very interested in doing a movie centered around the games that we play with people's lives. Also, quick side note, it's hilarious to me that they didn't get Statham back to do this movie and instead went with Gerard Butler. And then Statham does, I think, Death Race around this time, which is basically the same plot but with cars. He did the Twisted Metal version and they did the Call of Duty version. I think that's amazing. Because we have nerds making this movie, my second favorite thing about this film is the fact that it kind of functions like not only an ode to video games, but an ode to YouTube as well. These guys are very interested in the attention market, even though that's not a thing we're quite talking about yet in 2009. They knew, they had the foresight to kind of predict the way the internet was going. I find that to be really, really interesting. And like I said earlier, the POV shots during the Call of Duty sections end up being one of the coolest parts of this movie. These shots are something we spent the next couple decades recreating with drones and things like that to get better versions of. But the fact that they're doing it at all in a big scale Hollywood production tells me that these guys were trying to do something unique behind the wheel. That's something I said in the last video, and I'll keep reiterating. You can always get me with uniqueness, even if you're not aiming for cinema perfection. The nanobots functioning as the connection of our minds within the internet, controlling our bodies. This is a great metaphor that only comes out if you're kind of aware what was happening in the zeitgeist at the time and where we're heading. This movie feels goddamn prescient at times, and that's what's so fun and scary about it, is that it's much more invasive than a Running Man or a movie like that. It's instead going, no, we know kind of where this is heading within the next decade. This isn't set in the far future. They don't need ultra futuristic technology other than the idea that maybe someone could use tech to control our brains and our bodies. And that's not untrue. Look at the way our brains are rotting with AI right now. That's something that this kind of thing is being talked about in the movie, even if they're not putting the exact finger on the exact button yet. The only thing missing is the sentient computer that's controlling it all. And I almost anticipated that to be the finale. They almost hint to that with the final lines of, hey, it's just a couple of keystrokes for you guys, turn it off. The actor seems to elicit the feeling that he knows more than even maybe Michael C. Hall's character did. And maybe there's a big brain computer working all this in the background. Again, this is one that never gets a sequel, and I'm okay with that. It's a little problematic to get a sequel, but I do kind of dig what they're aiming for here, and its prescient nature really struck me watching it in 2025. The last thing that I really love about this movie is that it's a tight 95. This one doesn't want to overstay its welcome. It's not trying to hit us with a 2-hour think piece or a 2.5-hour guns blazing epic. No, this is a movie that knows it's probably going to make it to Redbox in the next year or two, and it's going to be right alongside some of Jason Statham and Gerard Butler's other films. Knowing that, it still keeps its runtime nice and tight, just a little longer than that 85-minute mark that makes a movie look a little weak. And maybe it is a little weak. Maybe this is a movie that I don't revisit very often now as an adult, but I can definitely see why as a teen I was addicted to it. But what about you? What did you think of Gamer? Did you check this one out? Have you seen the Crank movies as well? Are you a fan of what Neveldine and Taylor are up to at this time? I was digging them, and rewatching them in 2025, I can see all the problematic shit, but I can just see their excitement for the game, no pun intended. And so I really enjoyed that. That was kind of infectious to me this time. Bear with me, let me grab your neck so you don't get whiplash on this one. We're going from Gamer to Miyazaki and talking about Ponyo next. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow.